The word is coup, C-O-U-P, and it's a word that in French means literally a blow or to be hit, either a blow that you receive or a hit that you make. And it's a word that has a lot of different meanings in French, or has come to mean a lot of different things in French. For example, you could say a coup de théâtre, which is some kind of great performance, or the kick-off in a football match is a coup d'envoi, a coup de pied is a kick, or it could be a coup de foudre, which is a thunderbolt. Coup de foudre also is not just a thunderbolt, but it's when two people fall in love. Love at first sight in French is a coup de foudre.
Why is it coup and not coupe?
Right, it's coup because because the P at the end doesn't have an E following it, so it's aspirated, it's unheard. In French, if you have a consonant, it's usually not heard unless it's followed by a vowel, and usually by an E. And so coup, C-O-U-P, is coup and not coupe. And in French, it's important to make the distinction because there is a word coupe, couper, to cut. If we think of coup, we might think of coup d'état, and I'll explain how that came into English in a moment. You might think of coup de grâce, which is another idea for this particular word, and also, of course, the word just coup by itself, the idea that somebody's pulled off a bit of a coup, that it's a bit of a surprise, somebody's pulled something out of a hat. We use that every day, and we use that word coup. Of course, when we talk about a military coup and dictators, that's the word coup d'état. Coup d'état. And what you have is D, apostrophe, E with an acute accent, T-A-T. So a coup d'état is literally a blow of the state. D with the apostrophe is of. It has an apostrophe because in French, the word of, D-E, if it is followed by a word beginning with a vowel, loses the E. You can't have two vowels running together, so you have the apostrophe and then you have the word état, meaning state. So it's literally a blow against the state. It actually goes back to the 17th, 18th century, and this is one of the reasons that it's imported into English, is that this was a period when France dominated Europe. And because France dominated Europe, French was the language of diplomacy, and it was a period of history where the relationships between states were becoming fixed. So the international law was beginning to develop as an idea. And so there are all kinds of terms, all kinds of words. So French is the lingua franca, and all kinds of terms which appear in other languages, including coup d'état, become the shorthand for a change of government. And in English, it's in that period, in the 17th and 18th century, that we get words like entente and entente cordiale, for example. The entente cordiale is later, but this phrase coup d'état as the idea of a change of regime, a change of government. I mean, I was thinking about the ways in which we use the word coup in English. We have coup d'état. We also have coup de grâce. And the coup de grâce is the idea of this idea of a blow, of an action that brings something to an end. Well, a coup de grâce might be used in the context of hunting, and that's where it comes from. If you have, for example, a stag that was being hunted and had been brought down by the pack of hounds, but had not yet died, then not one of the horseback hunters, that wouldn't have been seen as being a noble thing to do, but one of the assistants on the ground would have then administered the coup de grâce, would have finished off the stag, put it out of its misery, if you like. And you might say a similar thing about a soldier, or indeed in a duel. So if a gentleman was involved in a duel and had been mortally wounded, rather than be taken to hospital, because of course duels were technically illegal, so you didn't really want to reveal that a duel had been held, then somebody would administer the coup de grâce. And of course the idea of grâce, or grace, was the idea that it was, in a sense, it was an act of mercy, the idea of putting either the beast or the man out of their pain, out of their misery, but also the idea that in so doing they were going to go on to meet their maker. So there is the double sense of the word grâce. By extension then, if you think about it in sports commentary, then the coup de grâce is more or less the point at which the opposition are finished off. So, you might say that the try that puts the game beyond the Australians is the coup de grâce, or the goal that ensures that Arsenal defeat Tottenham is the coup de grâce, and it gets used in that kind of figurative
France's
sense.
third goal in the '98 World Cup.
Or France's third goal was absolutely the coup de grâce par excellence, and that's the idea of the coup de grâce. And then you have, as I said earlier, the idea of the coup, something that is a surprise, nobody was expecting it, and usually that has quite a positive connotation. One might think of, a coup, a dictatorship in a negative way, but when we say that somebody's pulled off a bit of a coup, then generally it's in admiration, that they've surprised everyone, that it's come out of left field, and that it's a good thing. So, and I think those are viewers will probably think of other examples where we use coup or a coup and something else in a construction, but I think those are the main ones that I can think of, certainly coup d'état. I suppose coup de théâtre is sometimes used, but probably in quite a referenced way. A coup de théâtre, théâtre is theatre, so it's the idea of a rather spectacular gesture. Usually in the theatre, but you could say that, let's say something like the opening ceremony for the London Olympics in 2012, you could say that the arrival of the Queen, in inverted commas, was something of a coup de théâtre, and that's an excellent example of where one might come across that expression in English.